Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. I'm Fajri Koto, an assistant professor at Muhammad bin Zayed University of Artificial Intelligence. In this presentation, I will present my NAACL 2025 paper in Industry Track, Cracking the Code, Multi-Domain LLM Evaluation on Real-World Professional Exams in Indonesia. So I will begin this talk by recalling a famous data set for evaluating knowledge of large language model, Massive Multitask Language Understanding, or MMLU, by Hendricks et al. 2021. This dataset is a QA benchmark and focuses on school exam questions across various subjects, as you can see the example here for the conceptual physics and college mathematics. However, this MMLU is not a comprehensive benchmark for evaluating professions or professional exams that will not allow us to comprehensively understand the readiness of large language model for real-world job sectors. So the existing MMLU datasets have a limited coverage of real-world professions. For instance, in English MMLU, the coverage is only 20% for the professional exams. If we compare to the Indo MMLU or Arabic MMLU for Indonesian and Arabic, the coverage is less than 4%. Imagine you are asked these questions. Would you trust a large language model advice on a prevalent disease in your region if the model has not passed a medical competency exam? Well, as we know that the large language model being expanded across industries, evaluating their real-world expertise is indeed crucial, especially for professional and vocational tasks. In this task, we introduced IndoCareer. It is the extension of the Indo MMLU in Indonesian language. It covers 22 professions across 6 categories. As you can see in this pie chart, we have here healthcare, insurance and finance, creative and design, tourism and hospitality, education and training, and law. So the IndoCareer dataset that we introduced in this paper consists of 8,834 questions, and these questions are obtained through 3 types of exam. The first one is a competency exam, which is kind of like exam held by the local government specifically for healthcare and law and education. The next one is certification exam, which target specific skills such as in finance. And the third one is vocational school exam for categories of tourism and hospitality, creative and design. In this example that I'm showing here is for certified public accountant, where in this example or in this question, we are asked to solve some tax for a company which require us to understand the local tax law in the country. And the second example for the teacher competency test that mentioned here the characteristic of the 2013 curriculum, which again require us to understand about the local knowledge of Indonesia. So to construct IndoCareer, the data sources come from Scripty, a document sharing platform, and also local government websites, and share Google Drive folders. So 99% of the exam questions in IndoCareer are retrieved from file formats such as PDFs and Word documents, minimizing the opportunity of training data leakage compared to scraping from public web pages. And in order to scrap this, we hire 3 professional teachers to do this job manually, and we allocate 1 month period of time to scrap this question and answer. And for IndoCareer, we exclude images and tables, and we have also some comprehensive quality control stages where all of the data sources here are manually checked and validated before being distributed to the workers. We also have 1-hour workshop prior to the data collection, and we also conducted a manual review of 300 randomly selected samples, which contributed to 3.3% of the datasets, and we find an accuracy rate of 99%, highlighting the highest or meaningful accuracy achievable by the large language model when tested using the IndoCareer dataset. This is the overall statistic. You can see a couple of job fields such as healthcare, insurance, finance, and so on. For healthcare, we have medical doctors, pharmacists, midwifery, nurse, clinical psychology, and so on there. So the experiment here that we conducted quite straightforward is the zero-shot evaluations. There are two types of model that we are evaluating here. One closed-weight LLM, it is GPT-4o, and then 26 open-weights large language models. For the open weights, we select the answer based on the highest probability of the first token being A, B, C, and D, whereas for the GPT-4o, we perform string matching to assess the accuracy. And to have some more robust evaluation, we average the accuracy across three settings. The first one, when we use the original order of options, whereas the remaining two, we use the option, we use the questions where the options are shuffled. And the first observations of the experiment result is it's not very surprising to see GPT-4o and Llama 3.170b emerge as the top performing models with the average of accuracy is 68.5 and 72.3 as highlighted in this slide. And we find that the existing Indonesian-centric models are not yet optimized for professional exam tasks. Even though these models are very good at local reasoning and stuff, but we look at into the average score here, it is some of them near to random, indicating that this model is not super ready to be adapted into the real world job sectors in the country. And we also find that the healthcare is the most challenging based on the average healthcare accuracy across the models. So some analysis over the results. First, we find that shuffling the multiple choice options leads to unstable results, particularly in insurance and finance. So you can see here, although their standard deviations are not severe, ranging from 1 to 3, but they highlight areas where models are less robust to option shuffling. For example, here, for a certified financial planner, we have standard deviation 2.91, but in terms of rank correlation across the experiment settings, the rank correlation is extremely low compared to the clinical psychology that is 0.93. The second analysis is we find that the LLMs perform well in life insurance certifications, but struggle with finance-related certifications. So in order to do this, we set a passing score for each exams, denoted by the red bars there. And we find that models achieve passing scores for professions such as life insurance here, Sharia life insurance, and graphic design, and others, but they fall significantly short for finance-related certifications such as CFP, CFPMA, with the gap between the passing score and the model score kind of like significant. And the next analysis is we find that questions with local context and numerical analysis pose greater challenges. So we perform here manual analysis on 100 correctly predicted examples and for the 100 incorrectly predicted ones. And we find that here some tendency on the incorrectly predicted example where we have more questions with local context and also require more numerical reasoning. So that's it for this presentation. So we introduced IndoCareer as the most comprehensive dataset of professional exam across various job sectors in Indonesia, and it encompasses 22 professions as we categorize into healthcare, insurance and finance, creative and design, tourism and hospitality, education and training, and law. All the dataset is available in Hugging Face. And lastly, thank you for your attention.